So now we also spoke about the relationship between AI, machine learning, and deep learning. So you remember that. So when we talk about the algorithm part of AI, we're going to focus on machine learning. So machine learning is just teaching the machine. So the machine is learning what will be the process that will be used for the machine to learn. All right. So we mentioned three schools of thought that were used to create all these algorithms. So the first one we had symbolism, and then we had connectionism, and what's the third one? The third one will be behaviorism. So symbolism. So basically, the basic thought of symbolism is that we are based on the same way that the process of human being is when it comes to have think of thoughts, have certain data, how we deal with data and everything. Okay, so a human being is just a physical symbol system, and so is a computer. Computers, therefore, can be used to simulate intelligence, behavior of human beings. So we look at the way when we talk about of the way machine will work. Machine will work just like human being, based on the whole picture of the symbol. But in terms of connectionism, we're going to have algorithms that are going to look at each section of an information and try to see how much of this section can play into predicting about a certain object. So we actually, in connectionism, we have algorithms such as neural network, and most of the deep learning algorithm, they will use the connectionism system. Okay. And then the last one will be behaviorism, which will look at the intelligence based on how something can react in a certain environment. Okay, so kind of a brief development of history of AI. Remember yesterday we said the concept of AI was brought in the 1950s, but it's only 1956 where at the conference of scientists, there was the whole idea of making machine that could think. In 1956, that's where we say it was the birth of AI. Anybody remember who was the father of AI? Who's considered to be the father of AI? Anyone remember the name?
John McCarthy.
Yes, John McCarthy. So John McCarthy is considered to be the father of AI. And now, as years goes, there have been different algorithms that were brought, to try and solve certain issues in the AI world. And it's only one of the years where there was such a big success was in 1997, when for the first time an AI was able to beat a human at a game. So Deep Blue. So Deep Blue was the first AI to beat the world champion of chess, Garry Kasparov. So Garry Kasparov was beaten by an AI called Deep Blue. So things like this can come in your exam where they give you options and ask you what was the first AI that beat a human being, at the world of chess. So you will remember that was Deep Blue. So Deep Blue, that was 1997. And another achievement as well in terms of the gaming was in 2016 when we have another game, another robot, AlphaGo, that was able to beat the world champion of the game called Go. It's mostly played in Asian country. So Lee Sedol, who was that player, was beaten 4-1 by a robot called AlphaGo. And remember yesterday we spoke about how in 2010, that's where we have the big era of big data frame. Okay, this is where deep learning starts growing. Why? Because of the availability of enough data and availability of the proper computer power. Okay. So different technologies will come into the AI world. For us to be able to create any AI application, we will have to make sure we have the right algorithm. In terms of computing powers, we will have to get the right device and different chips. That's why you can see today, to show you how AI is important. Can anybody tell us which one is the richest company at the moment in the world, in all fields? Which one is the company? Does anyone know? Which one is the... Sorry? Yeah, you can go for it. Which one is the richest company?
Details about the program.
I can hear someone talking about Apple. Anybody else? Anybody else? Anybody else? The richest company in terms of the revenue.
Meta, Microsoft.
You have companies such as Microsoft, which are involved in many technologies. You have Apple, and then you have one of the company which is the fastest growing at the moment in terms of their revenue. You know, in terms of the revenue, is called Nvidia. So you have Nvidia. This is how you write it. And where's this thing? What does Nvidia do?
Do they not create games, huh?
No.
Graphic cards.
They create all the chips. They create the chips that are powering AI. You can't build with normal chips that you have on your computer. But when we reach the section that talk about computing power, we're going to learn about those type of chips. You can't build a very powerful AI tool with millions of data using your graphic of your computer, because there's a lot of mathematical processes that are happening into AI learning. The whole process of machine learning involves a high level of chips and servers and all that. And NVIDIA is involved in manufacturing those graphic cards, those chips, and that's why they're making so much money, because now all these big tech are purchasing all those technologies from them. Okay, but we're going to talk about it when we reach the computing power. So you must understand. So we need the right chips, we need the right devices, the right algorithm. This is how we're going to be able to create the best applications, right? So in terms of the devices, what we're more interested in is the on-chip memory, the devices that we're using, the memory on the devices, you understand? So, and then we have process technologies. These process technologies will depend on different technologies that we have. What's the process that we're going to have in those technology, and what type of devices we will need for that, okay? And then we can be able to create such applications, such as application involved in video and images, voice speeches, text, and different control. You have things like Internet of Things, where you can control the lighting in your house based on your command, right? So in terms of algorithm, remember, we're just gonna use machine learning algorithm and deep neural network. Deep neural network is what we call deep learning algorithm. The difference is that deep learning is a more advanced level of machine learning. Machine learning will be used for very small, simple scenario, but deep learning needs to be used when we have advanced scenarios. Okay. So, type of AI, we only have two types of AI. We have strong AI and then we have weak AI. The strong AI is what you see in movies, robots that can think and decide when to do something, robots that will be self-aware, robots that will know that they exist and they can decide to do certain things. This does not exist yet. And the world is fighting that nobody invest in creating strong AI because this is going to be dangerous. Because if AI get to a point where they can decide by themselves, this is going to be very dangerous. But this is only in the movies. But in real life, we still on weak AI because every AI we have today is not self-aware. This AI can only do what they were trained to do. So if you train an AI with data with 10,000 pictures, 10,000 pictures of mangoes and 10,000 pictures of apples, and you teach this AI to detect between fruits and determine if this is a mango or it's an apple. This AI will never give you an output called banana because it was never trained for banana. It was trained for mangoes and apples. But as human being, even if you are taught certain things by your parents, somehow you learn other things from a different source, and then you can become rebellious. You can say no, you have the choice, you have the free will. As human being, we call it free will. So AI do not have free will. That's why they are considered to be weak AI. No matter how good or how sophisticated you see the AI, they are all weak AI. Okay, so how do we classify them as weak AI or strong AI? You need to ask yourself, is this AI thinking like a human being? Even if it's thinking like a human, it's still considered to be a weak AI. Is it acting like a human being? Even if it's yes, it's still considered to be a weak AI, such as all the humanoid robots that you have and all those robots. But now, the question remains, can this robot think rationally? To say you give a command to the robot and the robot say, no, I'm not happy with that, I'm not gonna do it. Can it act rationally? No, not yet. So at the moment we reach this, then we can consider this as strong AI. An example can be you driving a self-driving car, but you have an impact in front of you, you have a child, and then on the other side, you have another car. As a human being, your conscience will make you turn the other side instead of knocking the child. But an AI will look at the child as a small impact and choose the child because it's not thinking rationally. So that will only be considered strong AI. Okay, so now thinking about the four elements of AI that we said we need data, right? So we need to now combine all these technologies because remember now, what do we need? We need data, we need algorithm, we need computing power, and then we need a scenario. So now the scenario is the idea that we have. Now let's say our idea is really big. We need data from all over, right? Let's take an example of what company can I have? What example of an AI tool that I can take? Let us just take your WhatsApp. Did you know that behind your WhatsApp there is an AI tool? I think I've once asked, how do you think WhatsApp make money? How do they make profit? Anyway, it's only now that WhatsApp start having programs where people can boost or open channels and pay for it or things like that. But how was WhatsApp always making money? Yes, I can see and hand raising there. Thelma. Yeah. How do you do WhatsApp?
I remember when we were still doing big data, you said they make money by selling information to third parties.
Yeah,
selling
because
data.
yeah, because it's all about collecting data. WhatsApp is just a big data company. It's not really for you to just chat. It's about collecting the data. So when you think of an application like WhatsApp, if you have your phone that is off or you don't have data bundles, you're still receiving messages when you connect to the internet. So the question is, where were your messages? Every pictures that we send you and everything, where was it? You can see, so there's a whole infrastructure in having those AI tools. So at the bottom layer of that infrastructure, we have internet. Obviously, we will need internet for AI. In certain type of AI that will need to detect things, we will need sensors. For example, if you have a self-driving car, we will need sensors. And we have technology such as the Internet of Things, right? So these internet sensors and Internet of Things will provide us with the infrastructure to collect what? To collect the data. So these are going to supply the big data technology. Now, remember in big data, we've learned about how we process the data. How we're going to get data from different servers. Are we going to save this data in certain databases such as HBase, Hive, and all those technologies we've learned in big data. It's after we collect this data from all these sources, we supply this to our big data databases. So the big data technology will provide the data needed for the element of AI. Remember now, we're only putting these three because we already know what's the idea we're trying to do. So now, this internet sensors and IoT will provide technology to the big data. Using the big data technology, we will collect the data needed. Now, on the other side now, using servers and high performance chip, using the cloud computing technology, which we're going to talk about as well. Now, do you understand why we will do AI, cloud computing, and big data? Because these three technologies work together to create. So basically, big data and cloud computing technologies will be a support structure of the AI ecosystem. So using cloud computing and all these servers, so we can be able to create a strong computing power. And this, with a strong computing power, enough and proper data, we will now use the algorithm, the code that we're going to use that is going to take this data using the computing power that we have to create all the application that we want in different technologies, such as computer vision. So in computer vision, you have to do with image recognition, all those things that has to do with images, videos, and that. You can also get involved in speech processing. Applications such as Siri, Alexa, which understand the speech processing. You have NLP, natural language processing. Natural language processing has to do with application that can take a sentence, understand the words, like all your ChatGPT, your WhatsApp, they are based on this natural language processing. Okay, and then you have different other areas such as planning and decision making, big data analysis, and these will provide the right application for different areas such as in finance, in healthcare, in security, entertainment, education, and many other fields. Okay. So some of the subfield of AI, because remember we say AI is the whole study. So in AI, we can have some subfields such as speech processing. Some people will just focus on learning how to create this algorithm that are dealing with speech processing. You have machine learning, you have data mining. Data mining, you have applications such as if you have to work for WhatsApp, work for what is called this Facebook, you learn all the technologies used in data mining. Okay, you have natural language processing, computer vision. So all these to create robots, computer graphics, and all these technologies are going to empower the AI ecosystem. Okay. Technical field and application field of AI. We have many fields of AI for us to be able to create smart cities, which means that we have, let's say, the robots on the road, all the traffic are controlled by AI. We can create digital government. This will be beautiful. So you have AI involved in the government, creating laws based on actual data, instead of using human that can be corrupt and all those things. So we can create a digital government. Okay, we have autonomous driving. We have smart healthcare. Yesterday we spoke about how doctors can actually give some of the work to AI to just perform that, including surgery. Some surgeries can be done by AI. You have smart education. And then you have smart finance, smart manufacturing. Okay, so is there any area of application that you think shouldn't be affected by AI? Any area where you think it's dangerous for AI to be involved in? Anything? Any area that you think? So we all agree all these areas need. Okay, so so now we have all these areas of technologies where we're going to use different type of technologies that are actually going to play there. So we have different algorithms that will be used in different. So we're going to learn about all these algorithms. For example, the SVM, the support vector machine. You have the random forest. You have the logistic regression, decision tree. So all these are algorithms that are used based on the scenario. Now remember, you first have to ask yourself, what is the scenario of my AI? What's the idea? Then you see, what problem am I solving? All right, then you see, okay, if I'm solving this type of problem, the type of AI that I will need may be logistic regression. So now you know, how do you implement a logistic regression in your software? That's how you use it. Okay, so all these came from different research. Remember, what's made the algorithm is the fact that we did research based on connectionism. Connectionism ideas gave birth to things like deep learning. You have symbolism and different areas of research against. Okay, so you have an example of an application of voice processing. Instead of you having to type where you're going, tap the address in your car. Or sometimes you are in the middle of the freeway, you are going somewhere, and then they change the location of where you're going. They inform you that you have to go somewhere else. Now it distracts the drivers when you have now to start typing the address of where you're going while driving, right? So that's the advantage of using like voice processing, GPS. So GPS that are using voice recognition. And for the voice recognition system, they can reach out to 96%. So how do you train that? This is the application scenario. So the scenario is to create something like a voice navigation or question Q&A bots. For example, for some companies, instead of you having to call the company and ask about the product, you can just go on their website and get access to an AI, which you're going to use by actually using your voice. So that is just the application scenario. So those scenarios can be can work with different type of algorithms. So in this case, we're going to look at all the algorithms that have to do with voice processing. Okay, so in those algorithms, we're going to see how we're going to eliminate background noise. We're going to see how we're going to understand the language and all those things. Okay, but this can be used in many areas, such as real-time conference record, where people are having a meeting and you already have an AI that is writing, summarizing what was said in the meeting, and then it can share with the people who did not attend the meeting. For example, now that we're having a class on Microsoft Teams, in front of me, I can see the Microsoft Teams AI is actually writing a transcript of this meeting. So whatever I'm saying or whatever anybody else is saying is also being written. All right. So this technology, unfortunately, it's not that accurate yet to the level where we would like it to be. You will see it even on your TikTok or other applications where you see a video, you want to write the word of what you're saying. Sometimes you use a certain word, but it writes something else, but something that sounds like that word. Because, you know, when we're dealing with words, people have different accents, people have different ways of pronouncing words. So it's a bit challenging, but the technology is growing with time. Okay, because you will need a really voice print recognition. It needs to really understand properly what people are saying. Okay, so with this technology of voice processing, we will also need to look into the natural language processing, because the algorithm need to be able to detect what language we're talking about. It needs to be able to also have what we call a semantic understanding. What is a semantic understanding? Imagine I'm talking about the word book. If I say I'm going to book a flight, or if I say I'm going to buy a book, it's the same word. Book is written the same way, it's pronounced the same way, but it means two different things. A book and booking a flight is completely different. So your AI needs to be able to have a semantic understanding, understand what is the context, what is the meaning of what you're trying to say. Okay, so those are type of technology that will be used in machine learning when we talk about natural language processing technology. Okay, so these apply in many applications. Okay, so AI application, we can have AI in intelligent health as an intelligent healthcare. So we can use AI in when we talk about medicine mining. So basically, we can develop some medicine by using an AI assistant who will assist us in all our research and everything that we're going to be doing. Okay, so you can also use AI as a health manager to just advise people what to eat, you know, based on their disease and everything. So think about it. You go to an hospital, you were diagnosed with something. So all those data are given to the AI, and then the AI can just say how you need to eat, right? So you have many ways that AI can be involved in the healthcare. You know, we can have AI, for example, dealing with images, all those scans that we have. So all the scans, we can teach the AI to understand the scan, and then the AI can be able to say what condition is that. So how do you do that? We need to provide enough data to the AI for the AI to learn about this. So when we talk about machine learning, we will see in this case, for example, of the medical situation here, what type of algorithm you need to use. All right. So, and then we can be able to detect certain diseases and everything based on the amount of data that we're going to give. So AI can also be applied in our home, making our home smart home. Okay, so where you can control the temperature in your house, you can control the light and everything in your house. Okay. It's also applied in retail. You have such shops such as the Amazon Go shops where there's no one working in the shop. You just enter the shop, you take everything, you leave the shop. Next thing, you see an SMS telling you that you've been charged for what you bought in the shop. So this is how AI is also used in retail. And then we also have AI involved in autonomous driving. So we have all the self-driving cars at the moment. Okay, so the issues now with AI, when we talk about AI dispute, now it comes to what I said yesterday, where a suspect can provide a fake evidence, a fake evidence in court because of AI. Nowadays, you can have AI, fake pictures, you can have so many things. So those are the issues that we're having today. You understand? We can have today fake pictures, fake documents, fake everything because of AI. So that's the issue with AI at the moment. Okay. And then another issue with AI is the rising of unemployment. So there's a lot of jobs that will be taken by AI, especially every job that need you to repeat the same thing over and over. So those jobs are easy to be replaced. So you need to look at the type of jobs that require a lot of creativity, it require a lot of rational thinking, then your job is secure. But if your job does not really require rational thinking, it's something that you have to apply. The more experience you have, the better you become. You must just know that AI will take that job, right? So all the courier guys, we're going to be all using drones and self-driving delivery, whatever you call them. You have taxi drivers. There's already a lot of countries today where there's taxis with no drivers, self-driving taxis. You have soldiers. Today we have so many armies, such as the American army, Chinese army. They don't really need soldiers on the ground. They can use drones and all those things. Accountant. People used to dream to be accountants. So today people go to university and say, I want to be an accountant. After 5 years, your job is already taken. You are unemployed after going to school, right? You have all the customer service, So now when we think of, when you look, I'll give you an example. When you look at this here, some of the work that was not likely to be taken by AI were things like writers. But we can see today that writers are now using AI to write. You want to write a song, you just tell the AI what type of song you want. AI give you all the lyrics. Done. So we have software engineers. Software engineers, they're protecting themselves, but AI, a lot of AIs are now doing these jobs. Even if we thought it couldn't really be taken easily. You have HR managers. HR managers are kind of protected by that because somehow we need humans to continue deciding, having the final decision in employing people. But at a certain level in the HR department, we're going to have AI to be there in interview and try to, there's a lot of AI already involved in that, understanding how people will respond and everything and try to take a decision from that. Okay. People who are safe are people like musicians, because no one is going to go to a concert to watch a robot. Okay, so problem that need to be solved in the AI ecosystem, we need a copyright law. The problem today is you create your own AI. It was your idea, you and your friend, but you don't have money. You meet some rich guy to fund your project, and then he tell you, I will see you next week. He goes to someone else because he has the money. He gave them the idea, he give them the fund, they create whatever you ask them to do. Nobody's going to arrest you. There's no copyright rules for this. Today, you can decide to create your own WhatsApp. As long as you don't call it WhatsApp, nobody's going to sue you. So those are the problems that need to be solved. And then another problem that is a major problem is who gives authority to the robot? Today, everyone is creating robots. Elon Musk is busy with robots. Jeff Bezos is busy with robots. Everyone is busy with robots. Nobody knows what are those robots going to do. Who give them authority? Who give them command? That is the problem. That is the reason why you will find TikTok being banned in the USA. Why? Because the American believe behind TikTok, there may be the Chinese government that will try and collect data from TikTok. The same thing, Chinese also have banned Facebook, WhatsApp, all these American companies are also banned in China. Why? For the same reason. American will collect Chinese data. The only continent, the only place where everybody wants to take our data is Africa, and nobody cares. Okay, so the Russian have Telegram, the American have WhatsApp, the Chinese have TikTok. They're all collecting the data. So does anyone knows what is South Africa? How is South Africa also collecting other people's data? Maybe I don't know. Anybody knows anything? Anybody have any inside information to tell us? Anyone with an inside information? Okay, so in terms of the development trend of AI, where AI is going, nowadays we have so many frameworks which are easy to use. So it's very easy to build an AI tool. In terms of algorithm, we have so many algorithms available, and it's really small sizes. In terms of computing power, there's a lot of computing power accessibility nowadays. In terms of data, we can obtain data about anything. Okay. And in terms of scenario, obviously, every day we can come up with an idea because we have so many problems around us, and we can bring solution using AI. All right. This will be all for today. And on Tuesday, we will start with Python programming. So we're gonna learn to code on Tuesday. Because when we learn machine learning, we will also do some practices where we're gonna actually collect the data and create an AI tool. So we will need to, before we can start learning about machine learning, we will need to learn basics of Python, so that when we're using machine learning, we understand what we're doing, because the most used programming language will be Python. Do you need to install anything on your computer? I do not think so. We can do everything online. You can even do it from your browser. You can have an editor for Python. You can do everything. But whatever, if you want for your own project, I can always suggest you what you can install on your computer. But it's fine. So from Tuesday, we're gonna start exactly at 5:30, because we will have some coding to do. Yeah, start with machine learning next week. We'll see how we can teach the machine. All right, guys. Any question, any comments before we can call it a day? Any comment, any question? I'm going to just now, after the class, I'm going to approve everyone. For everyone who has already registered for AI, I'm going to approve you now. Yeah. But for big data, by tomorrow, I should be able to be done with the summary, and then I'm just going to send it as well with the videos. Okay. Any question? Any question before we can? Any question, guys? On anything?
No. Okay, so about joining the AI class, do we need to disassociate the big data class or we are able to
No.
join?
You don't need to disassociate. Let me actually show you. It's very, very simple. The process takes you less than a minute to do that because you've already registered on the platform. You just need to join the class. So
Okay.
let me just try and log in here and show you. One second, let me show you now. All right, so can you see my screen here on the Huawei platform, right?
Yes.
Okay, so once you've logged in, right? So once you've logged in on the Huawei Talent platform, once you've logged in on the Huawei Talent platform, you go to your go here where there's what am I doing? Okay, so you just go above where you have your name there. Give me a second. Where you have your name here. If you go there, you see it show you that menu there, user center, which you've already registered. So you go to user center. On the user center, you're gonna go for class management. So you have this here, and then you're gonna go here, class management. I'm getting it right. No, I'm going in the wrong. Sorry. Now you have your user center. I don't even think on your side there's class management. Sorry. Okay, so on your user center, and then you're gonna see you have my my classes. So you just click there, my class, straight. It's showing you here. This is where you're just gonna put the invitation code. That's all. You don't need to write anything else. You just go here, you place your invitation code, and then you click on join. Straight, it's gonna show you the course, and you're done. You can join. That's all.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you,
You don't
sir.
need to do anything. You go to the name there, user center, my class, you join. Okay. So that's all you need to do. Okay, guys. Any other question? All right. I think in the meantime, when you're thinking of the question, anybody who can put on the camera so we can take the attendance. And then we can call it a day. And just put on your camera so we can get a screenshot for the class. Okay, guys. I will see you on Tuesday. Okay. Have a great weekend.